Well, hello, everyone. It is so nice to have everyone with us here in the chambers on this cold evening. Makes us all feel warm, and I have to say, for all of us, this is one of the highlights of our year, getting to have this event and having some very special people join us in the room here that we can recognize and are doing wonderful, wonderful things in Kalamazoo. So welcome. So nice to have you here. What I want to do first here is I want to call this meeting to order of the Kalamazoo City Commission for Monday, January 27th, 2025. And our first order of business is roll call. Clerk Borling.
Commissioner Cooney.
Present.
Commissioner Decker.
Present.
Commissioner Hoffman. Commissioner Pradle.
Present.
Commissioner Wilson. Vice Mayor Hess.
Present.
Mayor Anderson.
Here. Thank you, Clerk Borling. May I have a motion to excuse Commissioners Hoffman and Wilson from this meeting?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Hess. Supported by Commissioner Cooney. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Thank you. Motion passes. So we are so honored this evening to have someone esteemed Bishop Michael Scott, who's now going to be here for two reasons. Pinch hitting for us tonight, we always have an invocation to start our meeting, and the individual who was slated to attend for that was not able to attend. So this is how that will work, is I'll ask Bishop Scott to come forward here to the podium, and I'll ask everyone to stand as he provides the invocation. After the invocation is over, we'll do the You're here. Yeah. Sat way in the back. We got a special seat for you that's empty, way up front.
Sorry, it said reserved for you.
Did it?
It does.
Well, I guess you fit into that category. Thank you for being willing to step.
I'm so sorry.
All right. Thank you again.
Bishop, do you want to, though?
All right. So, all right. We got that all settled here. So we are honored to have the Reverend Caleb Williams from the Millwood United Methodist Church here to provide an invocation. Go through that again. I'll ask everyone to stand and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thanks.
Yes.
The Spirit of grace, help us to make some room tonight. Help us to clear out the clutter so there is room in this meeting for miracles. Help us to discard our egos to make room for inspiration. Help us to drop our preconceived notions to make room for your understanding. Help us to toss our tribalism and territorial line drawing to make room for all children, every age, gender, sexuality, status, and on this night, where there are neighbors in our city who are scared and cold and alone, may the work done here tonight make this world a little safer, a little warmer, and a little more loving. For them and for us, let it be so. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks, friends.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much again, Reverend Williams, for being here. I appreciate that. Well, we have an extensive section here at the beginning of our meeting, which is described on the agenda as introduction of guests, and under that is the presentation of the 2025 Justice Youth Awards. And as everyone is aware, just a week ago, there was a national recognition of a transformative person here in our history in this country, and Martin Luther King. And relative to that event and this time of year is when we do these Social Justice Youth Awards. And we have several of them to get through. So let's go ahead and get started. We are so proud of the 8 outstanding young residents who will be here to be honored this evening, and I will let them be introduced by the sponsoring agencies or entities. And the first one is Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Iota Sigma Omega Chapter, and we are honored to have longtime former city employee Patsy Moore here to make the presentation. Welcome back.
Good evening, Mayor Anderson, Vice Mayor Hess, City Manager Ritzema, and City Commission. It is indeed an honor to be here this evening. I am Patsy Moore, and I have the honor of serving as president of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Iota Sigma Omega Chapter. Our organization is the first African American sorority founded in this country, and we were founded on the campus of Howard University in 1908. So for 117 years, we have been committed to cultivating high scholastic and ethical standards while addressing issues that impact girls and women to uplift and enhance their social standing. Tonight, it is with great pride that we present the 2025 Social Justice Youth Award to an extraordinary young woman, Ms. Layla Hemphill. Layla, a senior at Kalamazoo Central High School, was nominated by Dr. DeVita Gardner and is the daughter of Dontre and Ebony Hemphill. Layla exemplifies the spirit of social justice through her unwavering dedication to improving the rights and quality of life for others. Whether in her academic pursuits, community service, or peer interactions, she consistently challenges those around her to strive for excellence. What sets Layla apart is her ability to see people as individuals deserving of kindness and compassion. From volunteering with individuals with physical and mental disabilities to organizing drives to support the homeless and raising funds for Alzheimer's research, she embodies the true meaning of selflessness. She approaches conversations with openness and respect, a quality that stood out during recent discussions among her peers on critical topics like women's reproductive health and K-12 education reform. She is actively involved in several organizations within the Kalamazoo community. She serves on the leadership team for Confident Soul, is a dedicated member of Ivy Let's, the teen affiliate of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and a peer coach for Bit Not Broken. Additionally, she has participated in numerous programs and initiatives focused on diversity awareness, equity, and cultural understanding. Her moral compass is unwavering. She makes wise choices and remains unswayed by peer pressure. Ms. Layla Hemphill, we commend your outstanding contributions and your commitment to fostering social justice. Your passion and dedication inspire us all, and we are confident that your future endeavors will continue to uplift and impact lives. Please join me in congratulating the 2025 Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Social Justice Youth Award to Ms. Layla Hemphill.
I would like to thank God for putting me on the right path, my parents for always encouraging me, and my coach for nominating me for this award.
Thank you very much, Patsy and AKA. It's an honor to have you here providing that presentation. Next up, Derek Knopf from Consumers Energy, Community Affairs Manager, ready to present our next award.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Proud to announce the not once but twice nominated Ava Tate as the winner of the 2025 Consumers Energy MLK Social Justice Youth Award. Ava's a well-deserving and exceptional young leader in our community, excelling in political advocacy, academics, social justice, and athletics. Ava has been described as a doer in every sense of the word and having a deep caring for the basic worth and value of all people. She's turned these principles into a passion for community and country in the realm of politics as a valued member of local campaigns, state campaigns, presidential races. She's an active member of Youth in Government, Model UN, Michigan High School Democrats, and Michigan High School Democrats Black Caucus. Her greatest highlight from her political involvement was last year as part of the One campaign. She met First Lady Michelle Obama and Vice President Harris. She's an active member of the National Honor Society, vice president of the Portage Central High School JEDI, or Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, varsity basketball, yearbook staff, and school news staff. She regularly also finds time to help kids in her mother's special education classroom. Nominated by both her basketball coach, Rob Brown, and her teacher, Noah Curzan, I'm proud to have Ava Tate represent Consumers Energy as the 2025 MLK Social Justice Youth Award recipient.
First, I would like to thank Kalamazoo City Commission for having me, and my sponsor and my nominators, Mr. Curzan, and my basketball coach. And thank you. I'm really grateful for this award. It will encourage me to keep fighting for things that I believe in.
Thank you so much. Thank you again. Next up is from Fifth Third Bank, Peter Miedema, Community Relationship Manager, to present the next award. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. It's nights like this that make us feel a little bit better about tomorrow, doesn't it?
It does.
So Fifth Third Bank is proud to recognize Omar El-Gawi with the Fifth Third Bank Social Justice Youth Award. Omar is a strong voice for those who need strength and has demonstrated many times the initiative to take bold action to make sure he is heard while inspiring others to do the same. Omar was nominated by Maliha Raza Khan, who serves alongside Omar on the leadership team for Kalamazoo Nonviolent Opponents of War, or NO, and we received 5 additional letters of recommendation for Omar, which I think is some kind of record. Each reflected in different ways on his maturity, his leadership, his passion, and action for his causes that in a way that you might expect to hear of a Nobel laureate. Don't worry, there's still time. You're only 16. As a leader of NO, Omar has organized and led several high-profile events, such as the Remembering the Children March, the Portage Northern High School Walkout and Freedom Ride. As a member of the highly marginalized BIPOC community, identifying as Muslim and a proud second-generation immigrant Arab American, Omar has not let these challenges deter him. Instead, he has used his unique perspective to lead and inspire others. He has brought to attention global issues that resonate locally, uniting individuals across the community and fostering awareness and compassion for those impacted by injustice. On behalf of Fifth Third Bank, we commend and congratulate Omar on his achievements and look forward to being witness to the impact this impressive young man has to make yet on his community.
I'd like to give a big thank you to God, my friends and family, and specifically the Kalamazoo Nonviolent Opponents of War community. And I'd also like to thank the City Commission for having me. This award, as Ava said, it encourages me to keep fighting for what I stand for. And we hope for peace in Palestine and all oppressed people across the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Inika Way, I believe, is here from Kalamazoo Nonviolent Opponents to War.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Kalamazoo Nonviolent Opponents of War, KNOW, which has been standing and speaking for peace and justice in the United States and around the world since September of 2002, is pleased to award the KNOW Scholarship to Winter Owens from Kalamazoo Central High School for the 2025 Social Justice Youth Award. So in the community, Winter has served over 400 hours volunteering with Jeter's Leaders. In this role, she's been an active mentor at the Boys and Girls Club for the past 3 years, and she has helped prepare provoking and engaging lesson plans. She has joined in social change trips to volunteer in the Washington, D.C., New Orleans, and Atlanta areas. Winter has been on the honor roll during her high school years. She is a member of the National Honor Society, Student Council, dance team, and the Link crew. In addition, she has been on the basketball and track and field teams. Winter has been an active participant in community programs, including Girls on the Run and Out of the Darkness Suicide Walk. Winter has held a number of leadership roles. She was nominated by her peers to serve as senior representative on the Executive Council for Jeter's Leaders. She is currently working with several peers to present a workshop on racism in America and how that impacts youth, to be presented to peers from across the country. Winter's nominator, Dr. Harold Swift, Program Director of Jeter's Leaders, stated that Winter continues to speak out and up for the disenfranchised. He went on to say that Winter is an active participant in our program meeting discussions, and she always supports her peers. Her caring nature and personality allow her to work well with others in a team setting, as she always respects others' opinions, even when they differed from her own. Dr. Swift's nomination was supported by endorsements from Ms. Kendra Parkman and Ms. Simona Betton. KNOW is honored to award Winter Owens a 2025 Social Justice Youth Award.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Winter Owens, as you may have heard. First and foremost, I would like to thank the KNOW organization for making this opportunity possible and for all that they do. I would also like to thank my coordinator from Jeter's Leaders, Dr. Harold Swift and Ms. Kendra. Additionally, I would like to thank all you guys for being here and spending your time and giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Inakaway and No, for presenting this. Next, we welcome the Director of South Operations for Life EMS, John Pinkster.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Michael T. Scott II is a compassionate young leader, having been grounded in the core beliefs of faith, family, and service. He has an outstanding focus on embracing and improving the Kalamazoo community through his involvement in academic teams, volunteering, and peer tutoring. A naturally high achiever, Michael has been able to let his light shine through his leadership, having spent many years actively involved in the community through organizations such as the Kalamazoo Deacons Conference, Southwest Michigan Food Bank, and Dorothy Hobbs Food Pantry Ministry. As a dedicated member of the Galilee Baptist Church, Michael serves in several capacities. Chief among these is his work with the congregation's media ministry, which reflects his passion for the digital arts and his desire to combine technical skills with his commitment to the faith community. Michael is an active participant in the Progressive National Baptist Convention, PNBC, youth ministry. Through his national platform, he has developed a deeper understanding of social justice, service, and the teachings of Jesus. His experiences with PNBC have taken him across the country, where he has participated in service projects that support the marginalized and disenfranchised. These incredible opportunities have not only shaped his worldview, but have inspired him to bring the concepts of justice and equality back to his local community. Beyond his church and community work, Michael is a member of the Distributive Education Clubs of Michigan, or DECA. DECA is a business-based club that prepares emerging leaders and entrepreneurs for careers in marketing, finance, hospitality, and management in high schools around the globe. DECA helps mold the minds of the students of today into the great leaders of tomorrow by involving them in an open environment that fosters independent thought and discussion. Michael embraces diversity, which he defines as being beautifully different and unapologetically diverse, through speaking opportunities that help shift the viewpoints of others to one of nonviolence. A recipient of the NAACP's Dr. Warfield Youth Community Service Award in November of 2024, Michael stated that Dr. Warfield had a tremendous impact on him as early as his middle school years when he marched on Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday and listened to him speak about diversity in the path to community leadership. When given opportunities to speak, Michael educates students on their multicultural roles while instilling in his peers the need to embrace their own culture and heritage. He expounds on these beliefs while remaining respectful to others and resolute in the fact that regardless of appearance or action, we are all equally human. Nominated by Sadie Miles, Michael's mentor at both the NAACP and Galilee Baptist Church, and a student at Kalamazoo Central High School, currently in his senior year, I have the privilege of presenting this year's Life EMS Social Justice Youth Award to Michael T. Scott II.
I'm deeply honored to receive the Life EMS Youth Social Justice Award tonight. This recognition means so much to me, not just as an individual, but as a representative of a collective work we are all doing together to create a more equitable community. I believe that social justice is not just a cause, but a continuous effort that each of us can do, whether it's acts of large or small. I'm grateful to the opportunity to contribute that the effort and to the work alongside so many passionate individuals who are committed to making a difference. I'd like to thank Life EMS, the City of Kalamazoo, and most importantly, I'd like to thank God, my family, my nominator, Ms. Sadie Miles, and everyone who supports me and encourages me along the way. This collective effort, and I'd like to share this award with all of you.
Thank you to Life EMS. John Pinkster, appreciate that. Next up, please welcome Dr. Betty Dennis. And yes, all right, coming up together for the Lodge Dennis Social Justice Youth Award.
Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, my husband Tony and I are honored to sponsor this scholarship. We continue to be inspired by the love we have for our own children, Imani, Amir, and Tony, who all attended Kalamazoo Public Schools and graduated from Lloyd Norris High School, as well as our own daughter, Amir, who won the Lewis Walker Scholarship. So while they're all grown up, we are still inspired by the wonderful young people who are committed to social justice. We love the city of Kalamazoo and give this scholarship as a small token of our commitment to encourage young people to keep speaking up for those who can't speak for themselves. On behalf of my family, I am pleased to present the Lodge Dennis Scholarship to Isabella Morris. Nominated by Rebecca Joyce from CAMC, Isabella is a definite leader at Lloyd Norris High School and in our community. Isabella cares deeply about supporting other students. She's a part of Powered by Youth, a Kalamazoo Youth Development Network program in which youth learn about and revise the youth program Quality Volunteerism, Community Service, 1 of 2 assessment to improve programs outside of school. Isabella demonstrates leadership throughout several ways. She's in Girl Scouts. She's the co-president of the CAMZ Ambassadors, where she facilitates a group of 11th and 12th graders who communicate with all 9th graders to make them feel welcome and included at CAMZ, regardless of what school or background they're from. She's on the Kalamazoo County Youth Cabinet, the Youth Advisory for Kalamazoo Youth Development Network. She's the treasurer on the Lloyd Norris Executive Board. She's on the Kamsey Sizzling Summer Science Camp assistant teacher and National Honor Society volunteer. She's also on the Girls Investigating Science and Math Opportunities for Middle Schoolers. She makes blankets for the Gospel Mission and helps with school food drives. Wow. We are so pleased as a family to present the Lodge Dennis Scholarship to Isabella Morris.
I would like to thank my family and friends and my counselor, Miss Rebecca Joyce, for nominating me. I would also like to thank the Lodge Dennis family for this award and all of you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's always nice to see you back here presenting that Lodge Dennis Award. Next up is Judy Woolsey. She's assistant to Mark Schupan of Schupan & Sons, and she's going to be presenting the next award tonight. Welcome, Judy.
Hi. Mark Schupan asked me to send his regrets first. He's home ill with that same virus everybody else seems to have, so he decided to have me come in his stead. We would like to introduce Dontre Hempel Jr. to everyone. He's an active ambassador in our country as a youth leader in Bent, Not Broken, an organization that advocates for young people involved in the criminal justice system. DJ was nominated by his mother, Ebony Hempel. He leads by his own example, and his own journey has given him a better understanding of the challenges young people face. He embraces diversity by creating spaces where all young people, regardless of their background, can feel welcomed, understood, and empowered. DJ is also a fellow at the Justice Fellows Program at the Lewis Walker Institute, and he's courageously told his own personal story as an advocate for juvenile justice reform. He has participated in a visit to Cafe Momentum, a nonprofit restaurant model providing justice-enrolled youth with holistic support and career opportunities. And it's quite a coincidence, I didn't know till I got here tonight, that his sister is also received an award tonight. So their family are very much advocates, activists, interested in people in the community, and it makes it an even bigger honor. Schupan & Sons is proud to present the MLK Social Justice Youth Award to Dontre Hempel Jr. to recognize his efforts to change social justice in the community. Thank you, Dontre.
I just want to thank everybody who's got me here. Thank my mom, my dad, my two sisters, and all glory to God.
Well, we are all honored to have Dr. Lewis Walker here with us this evening to present the award named in recognition of his work in racial justice in Kalamazoo. Please help me welcome Dr. Walker.
I want you to stand right here. Thank you. Please permit me to congratulate all these young people. And I've said more than once, if Kalamazoo had wonderful people like the recipients here tonight, we would truly be the shining city on the hill. Congratulations. I'm delighted to be here this evening to share with you a young man who has proven to be dedicated to social justice at such a young age. This social justice warrior is standing next to me, and his name is Paul Evans. And over the last 3 years, he has demonstrated a strong commitment to increasing diversity, equity, and inclusion in various organizations throughout the larger community and your high school. A review of his impressive record suggests that Paul started on the social justice path when he was in the 10th grade. For more than 3 years, he has put his talents and organization skills on display as a strong social justice warrior. He attends Royal Norwich, where he is busy serving as the current chair of the Student Senate Advancement Committee, president of Royal Norwich Black Student Union, president of Royal Norwich Class of 2026. And Paul has made significant contributions to his community through his active participation in many organizations and youth councils. His dedication to creating positive change is evident in his involvement in groups that aim to address social inequities. This young man participates in and leads numerous social justice projects, and he has fought for positive change at the local and state level. And Paul has worked to ensure all people, regardless of color, gender, or religion, that they all are treated equally and without prejudice. And he's known to be a vocal leader for equity at Royal Norwich High School. He's also an advocate for students of color and underrepresented groups of students at his high school. And Paul also serves on the Michigan Department of Education Student Advisory Council, especially the Historical Justice Committee. I must say I was truly impressed when I read the lengthy list of activities this young man is involved in. He is currently involved in activities in over 15 different organizations. When do you sleep? In the larger community and at Royal Norwich High School. A few of the organizations that stood out to me in the larger community includes the Detroit Area Youth Uniting Michigan, Michigan Department of Education Student Advisory Council, Kalamazoo County Youth Cabinet, Community Peace Gun Violence Project, Inner City Youth for Change, Kalamazoo Youth Action Council, Kalamazoo Community Foundation Grant-Making Youth Advisory Council. I could go on and on, but I'll stop there. In brief, we'd like to thank your principal for nominating and bringing you to our attention, and your parents, Lisa and Dale Evans, who are here. We certainly thank you for sharing your splendid young man. And as he continues to make positive changes in our community and the lives of the people, I'm extremely happy and honored to present this year's Dr. Lewis Walker Social Justice Youth Award to Mr. Paul Evans. Congratulations.
Hello, everyone. I'm deeply honored to receive this award, and I would like to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude. First and foremost, I want to thank my parents for their support and encouragement throughout my entire social justice journey. I want to also thank my youth advisors who have been instrumental in shaping my path and helping me grow. And a special thanks to Christopher Oganaga and his dedicated support. His belief in me has been incredibly motivating. Lastly, I want to thank the City of Kalamazoo and Dr. Walker for this incredible recognition. This community has provided me with countless opportunities and has always been a source of inspiration. I am proud to be a part of such a vibrant and supportive city. Thank you all for this incredible honor.
Please permit me to introduce Dr. Bianca Nightingale Lee, the new director of the Lewis Walker Institute for the Study
of Race,
and
Ethnic Relations. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Dr. Walker. Appreciate that. Now we are honored to have a representative here from the NAACP who will be speaking, Dr. Harvey Myers. Welcome, Dr. Myers. Good to see you.
Thank you. Membership is the lifeblood of the NAACP, and leaders such as these 6 individuals, we want to catch them early. And therefore, these young leaders are needed as part of the NAACP, the oldest civil rights organization in the U.S. We award these new leaders 1-year paid membership in the local branch of the Kalamazoo branch of the NAACP. And you will receive cards in the mail within the next 6 to 8 weeks. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you again, Dr. Myers. I appreciate that, and thank you, NAACP, for that. Just a reminder that besides the certificate, all recipients will get a cash award in addition to the membership of the NAACP. I just want to take this moment here just to pause just for a moment, recognize all of us that are here in the room sharing this event. Let's take what we share together in terms of how we feel about our community when we leave this room and scatter back to our lives. Remember this and each other and how we want the community to feel for everyone. So thank you so much for coming this evening. Congratulations again to all the award recipients. And as one reward from the City Commission, I am not obligating you to stay for our business meeting afterward. So at this time, once again, thank you to everybody. Appreciate it. And if you want, did you want to say something, Vice Mayor? Yeah.
Yeah, just before you leave, too, I want to quote Albert Schweitzer, a famous physician years ago, said, "I don't know among you who will be," he said, He said, "I don't know your destiny, but I do know one thing. The ones among you who will be really happy are those who have sought and found how to serve." We've got some happy youth in here. And as a community, let us sustain them. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. If I'm going to give anyone an opportunity to go ahead and head out at this time if you would like. We'll take more pictures outside. And we'll just take a couple moments here before we get off into our regular agenda. Michael Smith, would you encourage people to move away from the door so everyone can get out of the chambers who wants to there? Well, I didn't really want to underrepresent the excitement of the rest of our agenda here, but it is an excitement that I know we share, getting to do the everyday work of the city. So next on our agenda is the adoption of the formal agenda. Commissioners, are there any items on the consent agenda, G, that you would like to move to the regular agenda? Commissioner Decker? No. All right. All right. We're all set then. The agenda stands. Next is communications. Manager Ritzma.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now is the opportunity for public comments for our business meeting. Just as a reminder, this isn't a time for dialogue, but it's a time for you to take advantage of expressing your opinion on any particular item of interest here to the City Commission and all those watching. So if there's anyone who'd like to make a public comment, now's the time. Please come forward. You'll have 3 minutes. Please state your name and whether you live in the city.
My name is Rita O'Brien, and I'm actually from Vicksburg, but I've resided in Kalamazoo County most of my life. And I'm here because I was invited by Vice Mayor Hess, and I'm very grateful to be here for you, Mayor Anderson, and everybody else. I'm part of Kalamazoo Area Anti-Human Trafficking Coalition, and I'm here because I'm really concerned about our whole community and the fact that many children have been trafficked and people are being trafficked. And there's not much that is being done about it because we've had no prosecuted cases in Kalamazoo County at all. I'm here because the amazing youth that we just had here, it's awesome that they have these awards for the youth so that they can show each other what they can do and encourage one another so that they can continue to make a difference in our community. And the reason I'm so passionate about educating on human trafficking is because I never got help. I didn't even know I was trafficked until I went to school at Washtenaw Community College after my marriage ended. And I overprotected my kids, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. And we have a lot of broken people here in Kalamazoo County that are being trafficked. They have drug addiction. They have a lot of other issues going on in their lives, and there's much to be done. I get really angry when people blame our police because it's not a police problem. It's a community problem. And I get to train the police. I am the one who teaches the MCOLS class to the police recruits at Kalamazoo Valley Community College. I'm trying really hard to make change happen. It's taken me 8 years to get where I'm at now. I got my master's degree from Western. but I'm determined that we get more education around Kalamazoo in our schools to keep our youth safe that we're here, to keep our younger youth, families that are trafficked. When I was a police officer in Sumter Township, a mom was selling her daughter for her drug habit. So I know what's happening here. And I really feel if we get more education and information out there, it can change. At the end of the meeting, people can grab some of these, are free online. I just really, really want to get the word out. Please go to the human trafficking hotline number. It is 1-888-373-7888. The National Human Trafficking Hotline can help anybody, everybody, and that number's free. There's also a texting option if you go to that website. And I just really appreciate the time to be here tonight for just a few minutes to get the word out that everybody needs to be free, especially Kalamazoo County. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
The number is 1-888-373-7888. I'll pass out a card. It's on the card. Thank you all. I appreciate your time.
Thank you again. I was just reminded, thank you, Clerk Borley, for having to say anything, but that we changed our rules to allow people to have 4 minutes to speak, not 3 minutes, when I misspoke when I said 3 minutes. So, is there anyone else that wants to take advantage of that opportunity? Not seeing anyone? We'll move on.
Hi, my name is Shauna Espinoza. I'm a citizen of Kalamazoo. It's cold outside. We need 24-hour shelters. We need you all to work with those that are already out here doing the work. Whew. So, as the lady was speaking, that there's trafficking, we have a big issue with housing and our unhoused population that are outside. They are the most vulnerable. We should be using money that you guys have as a city and as a county to be putting forward to making sure that there is equitable housing. There's a real affordable housing. There is things in place to make sure that people don't fall through the cracks or end up out on the streets. Our children are out on the streets. It's cold outside. It's freezing outside. Can you imagine that you're either living out on the street or on a car or in a car, and it's someone that you love that is froze to death because it was freezing outside and they don't know about some of these resources, or there aren't resources, or there's barriers out here? Can you imagine that somebody's child or even somebody that you love that's out there on the street that has froze to death because there's not enough being done? There's more that needs to be done. Extremely more. Kalamazoo is not poor. Kalamazoo is a rich city. But what I have seen is that you all are making it where you're pushing out those that don't have money or don't look like you. You're making it just about development and what's best for those that want to put money in their pockets. That's not what Kalamazoo should be about. It should be about supporting those that are unhoused and finding places for them to go and programs, investing money into things that would benefit they would benefit from, and making sure they're not out on the street, that rent isn't too damn high, that there are easier way to access things. Because as of right now, rent is too damn high. There are too many people out on the street. Even if we put them in houses, rent is too damn high. Consumers is too damn high. The water bill is too damn high. It's too damn high to live. I'm a single parent and I work for KPS and I can't even afford a place to live by myself. I'm living with my father and my children. And I should be able to have a place by myself, and so should my children that are grown. But it's too damn expensive to live in Kalamazoo. And Kalamazoo is wealthy. Kalamazoo should be able to make sure that though there's things put in place so rent isn't so damn high, so people can afford it. And so those are out on the street. There should be a cap on rent. Y'all should be at Lansing knocking on door to door demanding why that bill isn't out on the floor to make sure there is a cap on rent. Do your job, because I'm doing my job. I need y'all to do your job. It's election year. Have y'all thought about it? There's several of y'all up for re-election. I think it's about time that people take the places of y'all that give a damn about Kalamazoo, because I know I do. Be out here on the street doing the work. I'm tired. But guess what? I get up every day to think about and come out and do what's best for our citizens, not for myself. If I did, I would be at home. Because if that was y'all loved ones or somebody that y'all cared about out here on the streets when it's freezing or having no food or no shelter or a place to go, I bet there would be a law or something put in place to make sure that that doesn't happen. There shouldn't be out here. Do better. Hold yourself accountable. Do better.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jeremy Hernandez Herman. I actually reside in Kalamazoo Township, but I do a lot of work with mutual aid in Kalamazoo for the houseless every Friday. And for those of you who aren't aware what mutual aid is, it's all the homeless individuals out on the streets who do not have access to the shelters or the many hotels that the county and the city have decided to promote via MLive. And I'm seeing posts from the city where it's limited warming centers, 4 p.m. That's the ending time. I see Calhoun County developing coalitions. I'm seeing on the city of Kalamazoo, come to this book reading. We are a happy city. Parks are being promoted, bike lanes. We are not a happy city. When I see people out in the cold asking for tents, asking for food, wondering, how can I get a job? These are the issues that these people face every single day. These are our neighbors. I need the city, I need the county, I need my township to promote programs that will work. So we're not back here every single year when it gets below zero. The time to do radical things with money is now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening. I'm Toby Hannah Davies, and I do live in the city, and I'm from the Isaac Housing Task Force. I was part of the HUD required point-in-time count for unsheltered people Thursday night. And there were about 3 teams of at least 10 each who went to different parts of Kalamazoo County to not just count, but interview people who were unsheltered. And on our team, a couple of people bet before we went out at 6 p.m. or so that there would not be anyone who would be out because it was so very cold still on Thursday night. And because of the hotel project that had 120 people in it, in addition to the gospel mission having, I don't know how, crowded 400 people into their space. Very creatively, I imagine, putting mats in every corner of the building. But we were wrong. We kept meeting more people who were out. We were out till pretty close to midnight on Thursday night, and we interviewed a number of people who were living right in the city in tents or beyond the city in other parts of the county, staying in tents or just in tarps and boughs of branches holding them up, or people carrying their belongings with them, staying awake all night to protect their belongings and themselves, because it's not very safe sleeping in a tent. And then they have to find a place to sleep during the day because they intentionally stay awake all night. And so I want you to know that the United Way Continuum of Care is doing a really good job organizing that point-in-time count of unsheltered people that's required in order for us to get the HUD funds that we do from the federal government each year to help end homelessness. And also, I want you to know I'm particularly grateful that your COO, our COO, Laura Lamb, was one of the people there Thursday night in the dark and in the cold till late, interviewing people who were unsheltered and homeless. And also the city manager of Portage was there doing that job, and also the housing director and assistant or deputy director for the county were there doing that work. I was so pleased that it wasn't only people who are from housing agencies or from shelters or from housing advocacy organizations who were there, though there were a lot of us too, but people with significant positions in the local municipalities, really understanding by interviewing the people who were unsheltered and homeless. So that's going to help us all continue to keep doing better in this work that we have to do better on. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
My name is Drew Duncan, Kalamazoo City resident. Speaking on the unhoused issue as well, I moved here from Indiana a couple years ago, South Bend to be specific, and I love Kalamazoo. I think this place is very special. As a person that has moved here largely on my own, this city has offered me opportunity, employment, and in many ways has made me its second son. And what I see every night outside of this building is people who have lived here their entire life, who have not gotten that opportunity. And so I still believe that this is a special place. I still believe that Kalamazoo is a city that keeps its promises to its citizens. And I also believe that we're a place that we don't have a lack of empathy. We have a lack of imagination. And so one of the things that I've been paying attention to this year is during our traffic study, we looked at South Bend, where I'm from, for their bike lanes and their smart streets. One of the things that we could also pull from that city is they have a no barrier shelter that the city partially funds. And so what that is a shelter that doesn't care if you come there on drugs, and not that I'm a proponent of people being strung out, but housing is a human right. And just because you enjoy a drink or a joint doesn't mean you deserve to freeze in the cold and die. And so I think in a place like Kalamazoo, that is such a special city, I think that we can find the compassion to create this model. We have a neighbor very close that's doing this model. It's a proven model. They have the results to put up. It's almost completely self-sufficient financially, which as a commission, you're charged to be good stewards of our tax dollar. So I know you care about that, right? And I understand that the city cannot be in the business of trying to house all of the unhoused forever. But this is an opportunity for us to, again, be imaginative and learn from our neighbors. And so this is a program that exists very close to us, within 100 miles, Motels for Now. It exists in South Bend. I'm happy to send any of the commissioners that want to see data on that information and connect them with the executive director over there. But again, I think this is a ripe opportunity for us to address a problem that I think as I've watched a lot of these recordings, y'all keep hearing about. So I think the other thing that we have the opportunity to address is creating the city's first houseless czar. I think this individual could be a paid position for the city that allows them to cooperate and collaborate with the nonprofits. We have a plethora of duplicated services in Kalamazoo, and that is one of the reasons why it's hard getting a continuous base that is congruent with what the solution is to this problem, right? Because online, the discourse is, hey, we've got people that give out food, we've got shelters, we've got these things, but what I've noticed is a lot of them are not communicating. And if the city is going to be in a position where it's held accountable for it, I think that providing a position that's public facing, that allows us to coordinate with those positions, with those nonprofits, and creates wraparound services that, again, solves the core issue of these problems. We're talking to people on Fridays at Mutual Aid that have been on the streets for 33 years. And the only difference between them being housed right now is they don't know how to get a birth certificate. They can't get somebody to give them a ride to the Secretary of State office. So again, I believe that Kalamazoo is a place that keeps its promises to its citizens. I believe that this is a special place, and I believe that we can invest in its future in every person that is in it. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who wants to take advantage of this opportunity?
Hi, my name is Jennifer Hudson Prinkert, and I'm here to really talk about some celebration of our community. I run a music festival called Sounds of the Zoo. I'm entering my 4th year. This is a free festival, a multicultural festival that is to be shared with the community. I'm celebrating diversity and inclusion and putting awareness to mental health and sustainability, creating change through music. That is my mission. I have a really interesting, let's say this. I have a fundraising event that I've created for this Wednesday, January 29th at Bell's Eccentric Cafe. Part of this fundraiser is not only to raise money for Sounds of the Zoo, which, yes, it's a free festival, but I need everybody's help to make it that way so it's accessible to all. It is a 7-day festival over 8 locations in downtown Kalamazoo. We land our last 3 days in Bronson Park. And this makes it very accessible for anyone to walk by and be able to come and listen to music. I make sure that I support diversity and try to include as many types of music as possible so people are heard and seen. With this fundraising event, this is the first year that I'm working with. It's called the Kalamazoo Gals, which is a story about women that worked at the Gibson factory from 1942 until 1945. They produced some of the best, what they call banner Gibson guitars that Gibson ever made, over 9,100 of these guitars. This story was written by John Thomas in 2012, who came to Kalamazoo, not from here, he's from Connecticut, interviewed, put out an ad in the paper, and found 12 women that came to be interviewed about working at Gibson factory at that time. Gibson, when they moved away from here, Orville Gibson came here in 1890s, and he patented the mandolin and acoustic guitar. And he then sold the company a few different times, so it was not a family-based business. And then after he left, the company ended up staying here until 1984, and they moved to Nashville. During the World War II period, they did not talk about the women that were working at that factory. So John found a picture of women in front of the factory of Gibson and was really curious about what that was, and he wrote a book called The Kalamazoo Gals. He also had been working on a Kalamazoo documentary. 3 years ago, when I started Sounds of the Zoo in 2022, I had found out about there was the last remaining Kalamazoo gal. Her name was Irene Stearns. This was her when she worked at the factory, and this was her when she was going to be turning 100 years old 3 years ago. I ended up talking with the city to help create a proclamation day for Irene Stearns in 2022, which is January 30th. This year, she's going to be 103, and she's still alive, which is amazing. I decided that I found out that a documentary had been completed, a short 16-minute documentary, and talked to the author, and we decided we better bring back the celebration of Irene, celebration of the Kalamazoo Gals and all the women that worked at that factory. And really, for me, everyone that was involved in that factory. It's a rich story of history. I think there's something everyone can get out of that. With this, there is a Kalamazoo Gals movie, documentary that has just come out. John has put this into 45 different festivals, and they've just won Best Short Documentary in Paris. So I say this because this is really exciting. It's Kalamazoo, literally, there's the word. It's going everywhere. I think this is a great opportunity to celebrate and grow a music destination city built on some history. I think we can use that within our community. I know there's challenges in our community, as we've heard, but I think that music can be a healer and at least provide some reprieve from some of the hardships that we go through. And when this fall comes around, September 22nd through the 28th, I hope and will give this to the community for a Arts history. I want to bring this to the next level. And I wanted just to, if I can hand this over, these are just some information about. So we'll take January 29th at Bell's Section Cafe for 6 to 10 p.m. Suggested donation of $8. And this is a great time, so thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who would like to take advantage of the public comment period this evening? I just want to thank everyone that took the time, made the effort to come down here and take advantage of public comments. Next on our agenda is a public hearing. So I would like to open a public hearing to receive comments on the establishment of a neighborhood enterprise zone between East Michigan Avenue, South Edward Street, East South Street, and Portage Street. Manager Ritzma, is there a staff presentation on this?
No, there isn't, Your Honor, but our Assistant City Planner, Bobby Durkee, is here if there are any questions.
Assistant City Planner, welcome. Questions for Bobby Durkee? Commissioner Prale?
It might be helpful just to get a little bit of background about, what the instigated this and why we're thinking of this.
Thank you, Commissioner Pradell. This is the first NEZ application since I think it was September 2023, the Commission approved an NEZ policy. Since then, we've put up an NEZ page, a little bit of information for people that want to seek the incentive. And then in October of last year, a couple had bought, I might have the number a little off, I think it was 232, 234 East Michigan. It's where the Heemstra Optical Building is, and they submitted, we have an online form there for people to apply for it, and they applied for their geography, and then with that application, staff kind of looked at the bigger area. The Coney Island project is going on. We have another project looking to do some housing. So we looked at that broader geography to make sure it lined up with the policy and the state act. And NEZ, once it's created, sunsets in 5 years, so we thought this would be a limited geography would work. There were some other tax districts that wouldn't allow it to extend to the north, and we thought with some of the interest in this block, this would be a good area, and it includes the Harris's property as well. It's a little bit of the background of why this area, this particular spot. And they're developing a 4-unit building, proposing one at 80% AMI and developing no new parking with it. So their intent is to qualify for 15 years.
Other questions, Commission? All right, thank you so much, Bobby Durkee. I think that's it. Seeing no more questions, now is the opportunity for public comments on this item. Speakers will each have 3 minutes for their comments. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak specifically on the item that's being addressed in this public hearing about creating a neighborhood enterprise zone in a specific geographic area, please come forward at this time. Seeing no one, I will now close the public hearing. There is no action at this time, as this is a public hearing, which is a step in the process. Next is the consent agenda. Manager Ritzma.
The following items are presented for approval. First, approval of a purchase from Trace 3 through the MyDeal Cooperative Purchasing Program for the purchase of Cisco WXCC Contact Center solution to support the city's 311 call center in the amount of $113,756. Next is the approval of the renewal of a cooperative contract with Salesforce for 311 customer relationships management software licenses in the amount of $187,294.88. Next is the approval of a cooperative purchase through Oakland County from Arrowhead Upfitters for the purchase and installation of emergency warning equipment in the amount of $187,605.60, and approval of a budget amendment. Next, the approval of a sole source 3-year agreement with VDA Labs for Zscaler Cloud Security Services for enterprise network protection in the amount of $211,884.95. Next is the approval of the purchase of 4 Chevrolet Tahoes from Berger Chevrolet through the My Deal Cooperative Purchasing Program in the amount of $213,912, and an approval of a budget amendment. Next is the approval of the purchase of 5 Ford Utility Interceptors from Gorno Ford through the My Deal Cooperative Purchasing Program in the amount of $243,555, and approval of a budget amendment. Next is the approval of a professional services agreement with AVB Construction LLC for construction management services for the 150 East Crosstown renovation project in the amount of $337,020. Next is the approval of the purchase of 8 Dodge Durangos from LaFontaine CDJR Lansing through the My Deal Cooperative Purchasing Program in the amount of $363,608, and approval of a budget amendment. Next is the adoption of a resolution approving contract number 24-5429 with the Michigan Department of Transportation for the West Main construction project from 10th Street to Drake Road in the amount of $725,400. Next is the adoption of a Michigan Liquor Control Commission resolution to recommend approval of an application with Deserida LLC for a banquet facility liquor license to be located at 773 West Michigan Avenue. Next is the acceptance of a Source Water Protection Program grant in the amount of $70,000 from the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy for the Wellhead Protection Program. Next is the acceptance of 3 local bridge program grants from the Michigan Department of Transportation for structural improvements to bridges spanning Portage Creek at Stockbridge and Lovers Lane in the amount of $714,400. Next is the authorization for the city clerk to sign election coordinating committee agreements between the City of Kalamazoo, the Kalamazoo County Clerk, Comstock Public Schools, Kalamazoo Public Schools, Portage Public Schools, Parchment Public Schools, Kalamazoo Valley Community College, and Kalamazoo Regional Education Service Agency for the conduct of elections for these school districts. And next is the approval of the following appointments to the Environmental Concerns Committee. The appointment of Rita Chandler for a term expiring on January 1, 2028. The appointment of John Eric Kreuzer for a partial term expiring on January 1, 2027, and the appointment of Mike Thompson for a term expiring on January 1, 2028. And finally, approval of the mayor's reappointment of Kathy Faison to the Civil Rights Board for a term expiring on March 31, 2028.
Thank you, Manager Ritzma. Commissioners, the requested action is a motion to approve items 1 through 15 and authorize the city manager to sign all related documents on behalf of the city. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Praedel, supported by Commissioner Cooney. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Decker. Yes. Commissioner Praedel.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney.
Thank you, Commissioners. Items on the consent agenda are approved. Next, reports and legislation. City Manager Ritzma.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to highlight a few things and give a couple of accolades. As was noted earlier, we had an Arctic blast last week that that actually activated our emergency management severe weather, extreme weather policy as part of our emergency operations plan. And so in working with the continuum of care, we were able to fund a hotel project. I believe there are 4 hotels and 120 individuals that were able to be housed last week. I want to thank the Continuum of Care for their support and kind of being a conduit for the funding, and also the Kalamazoo Together volunteers for the unhoused that actually ran the program, and appreciate the coordination of all of that and getting folks off the streets into a warm environment. I also want to give a shout out to our Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety and our Public Services Department. Those crews were out last week. Obviously, our officers were patrolling in the weather that we had, and just really appreciate them putting that effort out there, knowing that it is unsafe. The conditions were unsafe, and also public services, obviously the snow plowing and the salting of streets, but also water main breaks and other infrastructure repairs that seem to not pay attention to the weather, and they're out there doing that work every day that is needed. So just appreciate all that, and that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Manager Rissa, very much. Now we are at a point on our agenda for commissioner comments. Are there any commissioners that would like to make comments for the good of the order this evening?
I'll go.
Okay, Vice Mayor Hess.
I'll go. Okay. First of all, congratulations to all of our Youth Social Justice Awards. To a T, it's our favorite night of the year, our favorite meeting of the year, to know that these young people are out there doing this social justice work on behalf of themselves, their families, their faith communities, their educational institutions. It's just really warms our hearts. So congratulations to all of them. I have to say that last Monday, attended the Hamill K teach-in at Western Michigan University. It was put together by the Lewis Walker Institute, and kudos to Commissioner Cooney for being part of a very impactful panel that really talked about the legacy of Dr. King and what it meant to be a public servant and a social justice leader. And I appreciate, Don, your perseverance for justice in our city and in the world. You inspire me. Thank you. I want to bring attention to our city's recycling efforts. We approved 3 new ECC members tonight, and they will be very aware and working on these recycling efforts as well with our community. But over on Saturday, there was a styrofoam collection, an electronics collection, and a paper collection, a shredding collection at Mayor's Riverfront Park. There was 1,260 pounds of styrofoam, an entire semi's worth of styrofoam collected on Saturday. There were 3,896 pounds of electronics collected. That included my son's very first laptop, which had to weigh about 50 pounds. So that was on Saturday. Thank you to Shupan and Shupan for all they're doing in the community, in addition to a social justice award. And then so EPS Foam in 2024 we collected 6.65 tons of EPS foam, of styrofoam. So that is out of the landfill because of the efforts of Kalamazoo, Chris Broadbent from our solid waste committee and from our solid waste folks. So thank you to Chris. Thank you for all the volunteers that work at Toby, who worked at that collection. There is a need for community members. I see that there is a lot of people that want to serve here. We need people to serve on our public boards and commissions here in Kalamazoo. And you can just go to kalamazooCity.org, and the information will be there for Planning Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals, CDAC, for the Historic District Commission, for Natural Features Protection, and for a Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. So like, please, if you're at all inclined to service in the city of Kalamazoo, we need you, and we want you on our boards and commissions. I also, City Manager Ritzema was going to give gratitude to our public services and public safety for being out there and being present and serving this community. Every time I got an alert that there was a water main break, I just said a prayer for all those people who are going to be out underground working on the water mains. And then also, my prayers also went out to those who were unhoused, in especially the cold weather, and gratitude to Judy Lowry and for her group for being able to work with the unhoused community and keep them safe in that hotel for last year, or from last week. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Hess. Yes, Commissioner Cooney.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to echo Vice Mayor Hess's comments about the people that worked last week to help people out of the cold, and especially Judy Lowry. They just did an enormous job, and it was great. No trouble. People took care of themselves. It's wonderful to see that. The second thing I want to say is it was great tonight. Wasn't the young people were terrific and they were inspiring. What was also great was the sense of community that we felt in this building. This is a time when there is a great effort to separate us, to divide us. And I think something like this reminds us that we are one, that we have to stick together. And what the young people did reminded us that when anybody's hurting, we have to stand with those people, and people that are under threats, we have to stand with them now. We are not powerless. We are a democracy, and we can decide what kind of a people, what kind of a community we want to be. So I think it's really important that we stand together. Martin Luther King said, we must learn to stand together as brothers or perish together as fools. And that never has been more important than right now. And secondly, that we need to stand up when any of our people are threatened or feel that they're under threat. We have to stand with them. And I think that's so important right now.
Thank you, Commissioner Cooney. Other comments? No? Commissioner? No. All right. Thank you so much. Well, just I wanted to recognize we do have two commissioners that weren't able to make it here this evening, and I know it wasn't because they chose not to be here. It's a very important night, so I'm looking forward to them being back at our next meeting. And I would just like to comment on a couple small things maybe that aren't so small. We talked a lot on our budget this year about how important ongoing resilience is in our community, and all the investment we're making in replacing our very aged water lines and replacing lead water lines, and all that investment that we're making, which we mostly only see for a moment. Well, sometimes it's longer in the middle of the street, but at least temporarily while we're digging a hole and putting the pipe in and burying it again, and then it is invisible to us. And that work is so important. But the smaller things I'd like to recognize, Manager Risma, are two things. First of all, I can't think of anything that recently I have gotten more positive feedback on than our city sidewalk cleaning program. I've heard a lot of positive things about that, and I think, we're starting down this path now of creating more expectations about taking care of your own sidewalk, and it has been incumbent on us, because the city itself has not done the greatest job of that in the past. So it's a little hard to set that expectation when you're not taking care of your own sidewalks. And from what I understand, I don't drive by every section of sidewalk that we're clearing, but I hear from neighbors that they're very, very happy about that. It's not a huge, huge investment, but I think it's a smallish investment that makes a big, big difference. We're talking about things like walkability. We're talking about things like safety for young people. Great. Thank you for coming up with that. And the other thing is just something that this time of year, I mean, I don't know why it's such a special thing, but, you know, we're sitting in this dark room and it's cold as heck outside, and every time I look over at Commissioner Cooney and Commissioner Decker and Commissioner Hoffman when she's here, I see the beautiful lights in Bronson Park right through our open window, you know, the shades up here on our window. And why is it that a light kind of makes you feel that inner warmth or joy? And once again, something that is in some ways a little thing, but I think this year the city really took a step in letting this park up. And we've been out and done the park lighting ceremony, many of us, for many years here, and people have turned around when we throw that big switch to turn the lights on the park, and I have to say it's sometimes been a bit of a disappointment. This year was not that. This park lit up, still light right now, and I just feel like it's a symbolic thing. I know that it's just lights on trees in a park, but I feel like it represents what we want to be together as a city, what we wanted to demonstrate by sharing what we shared together tonight, and I just want to say, thanks for the light. Appreciate that in terms of the energy efficient LED lights that are out in our park. With that said, I want to thank everyone from the city team who is working during this cold weather and getting us through the spring and doing all the important work of the city. I love you, Kalamazoo. We are adjourned.